because Donald Trump is over and over again saying, I want to have peace, not war. I want to stop wars, not start wars. I applauded Trump for going to North Korea. I thought it was fantastic. And he was attacked for it, which is astonishing. I mean, even on the campaign trail, they were attacking him for making deals or trying to make agreements with North Korea to bring down hostilities. And it worked. It was proof of concept that we didn't necessarily have to have belligerent foreign policy to every government. You were hosting or being a part of an organization that is trying to push Trump into doing this and to do it more. I want you to explain what that is, because I went through your article yesterday and I agreed with you that we do need to push Trump in a particular direction, even though Trump is somewhat of a wild card. And I don't necessarily know exactly where Donald Trump is going to go, but I do know between the two political parties, he's the one that is most open to making deals, if the deal can be reached. Give me your point in that, and tell the audience the date of that rally that is being held in relation to this. Please go into it for me.
Well, okay, so my organization, we're called the Center for Political Innovation. We've been around for a few years, and we facilitate discussion, et cetera. Our main way of intervening in the last month of the election cycle in October is we marched through the streets of New York City with an 8x12 banner. That's pretty big, 8x12, and it's windy in New York, so it's almost like a big sail. It's kind of heavy to carry around. But we had an 8x12 banner with Trump and Kim Jong-un shaking hands with the slogan, "Only peace can make America great again." We took that banner to Trump Tower. We took that banner to the New York Public Library. And then when Trump had his big rally at Madison Square Garden, we unfurled it there as well. And we were featured in New Yorker magazine. They quoted me and they talked about our banner in New Yorker magazine. We were just part of the political scenery in New York with our slogan, "Only peace can make America great again," pointing to the fact that when Donald Trump went to North Korea, that was a great step forward, right? It was, a country, you could call it a frozen conflict, right? There's, two governments on the Korean Peninsula that have been at odds with each other. The USA doesn't recognize or have diplomatic relations with North Korea, but yet Trump took the first move toward possibly bridging that divide. We thought that was a great step forward. What I thought was interesting is that Trump bragged about that on the campaign trail many times. He said, "I went to North Korea, I met with Kim Jong-un, et cetera." And his own side told him to stop doing that. The Wall Street Journal criticized Trump, and they said, "Don't do that. Don't bring that up. It didn't go anyplace. It was not good." But he kept doing it. He's just like, Trump is proud that he went to North Korea, and he wants to do more things like that. And I think Donald Trump also realizes that his hope for making a deal and improving relations with North Korea was sabotaged by his own side. John Bolton and Mike Pompeo both went to North Korea with Trump, and John Bolton was pretty blatantly trying to sabotage it the whole time. Mike Pompeo, not as much openly, but Mike Pompeo has since betrayed Donald Trump around, calling for him to be prosecuted, for documents, et cetera. And that Trump was kind of being sabotaged by his own side. And then you'll recall that during the process of those peace talks, individuals in Spain that were pretty widely reported in the Spanish press to be CIA individuals raided the North Korean embassy in Spain and attacked the North Korean embassy, stole a bunch of laptops, etc. And that was done just as a provocation, just to antagonize North Korea. And that a big section of the American deep state was saying, we don't want peace with North Korea. We will not allow this to happen. And Trump was trying to have peace with North Korea. And Trump's, ally and friend, Jim Rogers, the legendary investor, he was backing Trump in trading and trying to improve relations with North Korea. Jim Rogers, and there were a number of other forces that were supporting Trump in trying to make peace with North Korea. But the American intelligence apparatus and the deep state was trying to prevent it. And that the thing that I think is interesting, you can put this in the context of the new reports. Anya Parampil put out the report saying that that apparently Trump and Maduro were going to meet during Trump's first term, and then Mike Pompeo sabotaged that. And that it seems like that within the Trump administration, there are different goals. And there is a very pragmatic pro-peace side to the Trump administration that wants to improve relations with different countries, that sees that as a way that America can become more prosperous because we're trading with different countries, et cetera. And there is the old neoconservative regime change apparatus and some special immigrant communities that have a bone to pick. That's important too. I mean, a big part of the Trump coalition is, you have the Epoch Times, the Falun Gong. Those are folks that hate the Chinese government, and they just have a bone to pick against the Chinese government. You got the Miami Cubans. They hate the Cuban government. And that, so on the one hand, you've got these particular immigrant communities that have a real vendetta, and they're going to push Trump to, be as provocative and regime change oriented in their particular country, in their particular region. But then you also have folks like Tulsi Gabbard and others that just kind of want to, improve U.S. relations and see that the strategy of regime change is not playing out in the interest of the United States in the long term. So there's different forces within the Trump administration. And I know a lot of people, I'm not thrilled about Marco Rubio being appointed. I think Marco Rubio is, I can't think of somebody I disagree with more politically. But that said, I don't think people should just give up, right? If you just say, oh, look, he appointed Marco Rubio. Oh, it's all over. You're giving up. You're admitting defeat, because there's also Tulsi Gabbard. There's also Matt Gaetz, who was going to be attorney general, and now he's going to be special counsel investigating the FBI. He just appointed an FBI director, as somebody who's at odds with the FBI historically. So there's going to be struggle within the Trump administration. And that if we just kind of stand back and oppose it, we're not going to be part of the conflict. We're not going to be able to nudge things. We would like to nudge things in an anti-imperialist direction. But that requires, maneuvering and making alliances and trying to insert ideas and things like that, like we did with our Trump-Kim banner. I wrote my book about Kamala Harris that was banned from Amazon and then exploded in popularity and all of that. Again, you have to find openings and intervene. That's what being serious about politics is. Is that, when the American Civil War happened, right? We could have just sat back and said, oh, Lincoln is racist. He's just as bad as the South. But serious forces like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass and others said, look, Lincoln might have his flaws, but he is opposed to the slaveholders. And the slaveholders aren't going to accept him, even though he doesn't want to abolish slavery. He just wants to keep it from expanding. And that created an opening through which a lot of progressive forces could intervene. And ultimately, that led to the defeat of slavery, the Second American Revolution, right? And that the way change happens is not by just kind of sitting back and throwing your arms up and condemning. It's by seeing openings and divisions within the power structure, by using that to create movements and push forward your own unique message. And that's the way I see things. And that there's that old meme from The Simpsons. I don't know if you've ever seen Old Man Yells at Cloud, right? It's a meme from The Simpsons, right? And it's got, Grandpa Simpson, and he's there. Old Man yells at cloud. In the age of social media, a lot of people think that's all they can be, right? Is that the world is just going to happen, but I can be on my Facebook or my Twitter complaining about it, right? And that, people will like my complaining, maybe share my complaining. I can complain in a unique way and all of that. Well, I'm here to challenge people and say, no, you can actually intervene in history. You can make a difference, but in order to do that, you have to be able to work with people you might disagree. You have to look for openings, et cetera, and all of that. We plan to attend the inauguration and to bring our Trump-Kim banner to the inauguration, along with a new banner about the Peace Bridge over the Bering Sea, because there have been plans for years to connect Alaska to Russia with a bridge. And I think Donald Trump could do it. I think Donald Trump could start the construction of the Bering Sea bridge connecting Alaska to Russia, and that would pivot our economy eastward away from NATO. It would get us in on the action of the, every year they have the Vladivostok Economic Forum in Russia, where, you can see there's so much economic development happening there with, the Eurasian Economic Union, and there's the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the Belt and Road, and that it could get us in on that action. So we're going to bring our Trump-Kim banner, Only Peace Can Make America Great Again. We're also bringing a new banner we'll be bringing with us, also huge, 8x12, about the Peace Bridge connecting Alaska to Russia. And then that evening, we're having a reception in Washington, D.C. To put forward, we need to figure out how we can engage with the new administration to push it in an anti-war direction in whatever way is possible.
Caleb, man, I appreciate this. Thank you for this. And I'm going to put the link at the bottom in the description